This meeting is being recorded.
All right, we're back with another very special edition. Our special guest is an award winning producer, mixer, and so much more. Please welcome Steve Thompson.
Hi,
Steve,
Jay. How's everything going?
great to see you, man. I love the Beatles marionettes behind you here. You got some.
Well, I'll give you a quick tour of this is one of my man caves. Hold
Yes,
on.
please.
Hold on. I have to unplug this and
Paul
this.
McCartney just started his tour here in California last night.
Yeah, I've known Paul for years. Can you see all this?
Yeah, wow. Look at this. You got quite the collection.
Oh, this is just one room. And the beauty about this room is I'm on a lake, so I'll show you the outside. This is upstairs.
Okay. Look at that. Mother Nature.
See that?
That's beautiful. What do they call that lake?
Lake Wickabog.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me go out here. This is one wall of shame.
Awesome.
And our Christmas tree that we leave up all year round.
If you stay ready, you don't got to get ready.
Huh?
If you stay
Well,
ready, you don't have to get ready.
well, it's not even a question of that. It's a question of it looks good, and that's like a secondary tree, not the primary one. Then we got this stuff going on here. There's me and Paul back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Okay, let me get back to normal here.
We love it. Yeah, at Paul nearing 80, he's doing 3 hour plus shows for the love of it.
Yeah, I love Paul. I mean, like I said, we sat down, we talked about working together, and when we talked about the project he wanted me to work on, I just wasn't feeling it. I says, I worked with John Lennon, as he knew, and I said, Paul, I mean, I have so much respect for you, but if I'm going to do a project with you, it has got to be the best thing you've ever done. And the songs are in the demo stage. This is probably about mid '80s,
Okay.
and I said, why don't you get it to where you're happy with it, then get back to me, and we'll go through it. Because I mean, you know me, I don't need the money. I don't need the notoriety, but I have so much respect for you. I wanted to be amazing. So it was funny. He was living in Scotland at the time. He gave me his phone number and address. I don't think anybody ever turned down working with him. It's not a question of turning him down, but you know, my bar is so high, and his bar should even be higher. And after watching him through then and now, I mean, I have so much respect for him. I mean, he's absolutely amazing, and people like Paul and Mick Jagger do it because they don't need the money, but they enjoy the live experience and enjoy interacting with people. And that's what I love about them.
Yeah, it is. It is incredible. The Stones and Paul, they still fill stadiums, and you go to the show, and there's at least three, if not four, generations there. The
Yeah, I
pe-
mean, to work with the people I grew up with and my idols is just unbelievable. Hold on a second. Let me show you this. Let me go back up here. That's when I worked with Mick Jagger and the Stones.
okay.
Stones. And Bowie was probably my biggest influence in music. I
Yes.
mean, if it wasn't for Bowie, he's the reason I got into the music industry. What I loved about David is that he was a chameleon. No matter how successful he was on a project, he'd always try something new and different. I mean, I love the Ziggy era. That's when I was a guitar player and I wanted to be Mick Ronson. And when he came out with Heroes, which is probably my favorite song of David's of all time, it just blew me away that he would always try and he'd always hire the best people. So I was honored to work with him many times. And that's probably, if I were to name one celebrity death that really disturbed me. Again, a lot of them did, but Bowie was probably the biggest.
Yeah, I mean that era, those guys, Mick, Paul, David. I mean, it is. I always say that's the blueprint for everything great that's come since. Anytime we hear something new, it sounds great. Well, it's Beatlesque, or it's got that Stones vibe, or got that Bowie, attitude. I mean, it's amazing how they've continued to influence and inspire us all.
Well, what's interesting in my upbringing, I grew up in New York, obviously, and I've had a very eclectic taste in music. I remember being in probably mid high school, and I hung out with this girl, Dottie, who was a 300-pound black woman. And this is probably, mid 60s. And they had those portable record players you can carry around in.
Yeah.
And she was banging James Brown all day long. And, and I got very friendly with her. And she turned me on to a lot of great R&B. It was interesting. I did a lot of, I was a racial activist. I hung out with the Black Panthers, and I was always
Okay.
concerned because when I grew up in New York, thank God my mom and dad could care less about skin color or
Uh-huh.
this and that, as long as they're good people. And I never looked at skin color to be even the most stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And to see people become racist over skin color, it was inconceivable to me.
Yeah, to prejudge someone before you've even talked to them, it's quite archaic.
Yeah, I mean, there's racists in every group of people in the world. That's never going to stop. But I just never understood it, and I love both people for being brothers and sisters. I don't care what your race is. I love you. Unless you prove to be a dirtbag, then screw you.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's so true. And you talk to Paul or certainly Mick and Keith, and you talk to Bowie, you see their love for American soul music. The blues, the R&B,
well, yeah,
the
David did a very interesting interview, which I loved. You know, David turned me on to Luther Vandross
yeah.
when they did Young Americas with Robin Clark, Diva Gray, the Sims brothers, and it blew me away. And again, you have to understand my upbringing. When I was hanging out with the Black Panthers, they turned me on to Miles Davis' Bitches Brewing on the Corner. This is probably like 1971.
Uh-huh.
And I got very heavily into R&B music. Like, you could take Motown, and I'd look at Philly International, like Teddy Pendergrass, and look at Stevie Wonder. You can look at all these bands that I idolize. And to me, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On Now is probably one of my favorite albums of all time.
Sure.
So I grew up with that, but I also grew up with rock. And I never stay with one genre of music because that wasn't what my taste was, because I'm all over the place. And I think that applied to my musical career.
Well, I always say there's only two kinds of music that moves you and music that doesn't.
Yeah, agreed.
Who cares what tag some critic put on this
Oh,
genre or this era?
I never listen to critics because they're 99% of the time they're wrong, and they're kind of like stuffy, and the hell with them. As a listener of music, never go by critics. Whatever floats your boat, that's what you listen to.
Well, obviously, your albums you've worked on have sold hundreds and hundreds of millions copies, tens of billions of streams, countless gold and platinum plaques, so many classic records. What still inspires you today to keep doing this?
Well, a great artist. Okay, if I'm gonna approach and work on something, I want to make it the best in the world. I mean, that's again my bar. I don't care if they're unknown or anything like that. My goal is to make it amazing, and that's where my writing skills come in. I learned to work with artists. If I get a demo I'll break it down. Again, a demo can be just a piano, acoustic guitar, and a vocal. I don't know where to take that. But at the same time, I'm a very big lyric guy. Is when I work with an artist, I say, okay, what audience are we trying to attract? And if they're saying, well, we want a young audience, then you have to apply the lyrics that the young audience can understand. And that's what I think I'm good at doing. So I've been doing that a lot. And arrangements are easy for me, and I just know where to take a song to make the biggest impact.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point if you don't think you can bring out the best in the artist and this can be some of the greatest music out there?
Now, there's a lot of people just take it for a paycheck. I could never do that. And even when, even back in the day, I never took it for a paycheck. I took it to say, hey, okay, we can make this better. That has always been my motivation. I mean, I put so many hours into my work. There was never a time clock. I mean, you can work from 10 o'clock in the morning till 6 in the morning. To me, in my sessions, when it stops being creative, that's when you shut it down. If it's creative, keep it going. But I value my approach to great pre-production, getting the songs where they need to be, and not making the artist overdo things. Get the essence and just bang them out.
Well, that's it. You want to be so prepared that you can do a finished take in the minimal amounts it takes. What is your goal? I know it's different for every artist, but do you try and get
Yeah,
that first, second, third take?
I mean, to me, if you don't have it by take three, move on. you know,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. That's always been important to me. I mean, I remember when I was doing Blues Traveler, for example. They had a song called "Runaround," and the demo was basically a 25-minute ballad jam. That was the demo. And I said, well, really like this song, and I said, why don't we make it up tempo? And John, I hate to say it, but we're gonna have to change the key of the song because when he sang in his comfortable key, it just wasn't hitting. So, and believe me, I don't like to make people uncomfortable, but at the same time, I know it's going to work. So I remember going to the studio one day, we run around to up tempo, and John just couldn't get the vocal out. So I said, John, I'll make a deal with you. If you get this song in one take, excuse me, I will take you and the band out to Peter Luger's for dinner. Sure enough, that piece of shit got in one take, and it cost me about $2,000 that night.
Oh man.
But it's probably the best $2,000 I've ever spent.
Well, definitely a classic record. They play July 4th every year at Red Rocks, the
Oh yeah,
beautiful amphitheater.
that's a
I
great
went
venue.
I went to see them there last year. So,
That's a great venue. I've never been there, but it looks so
oh,
awesome.
to we're used to these concrete enormodomes that were made for basketball and hockey. And when
Yeah.
you go to a place that's formed by nature thousands of years ago, it takes your breath away. There's something special about great music and great nature.
Yeah. No, they nailed it. I think that's an amazing venue. One day before I die, I hope to go there.